ready?
I guess so, yeah.
As will ever be.
As ready as we can be.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
Okay, we're live. All right.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I guess we can start ya, teman-teman.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tales of Durantha Artist Talk. It's my great pleasure to be here this afternoon. My name is Alexandra Karin atau Karin. I was offered this role as a moderator by our beautiful artists that as you can see in your screen right now. I'm going to introduce these artists to you all just really quickly. Later on, they'll be able to introduce themselves more in depth. So we have here Nala Nariswari, or hi Nala. We like to call her Nala. Yeah. And then there's Maria Regina. Hi, Regina. There's Nuance Rai Ajani. Hi, Nuance. And then last but not least, we have Sabita Rana, or we like to call her Rana. Hi, Rana. Okay. So we will have a like a short interactive discussion between myself and these four artists, and then at the end we will have time for question and answers as well. Jadi buat Bapak Ibu teman-teman semua yang nanti mau bertanya, bisa nanti di akhir akan disediakan waktu khusus buat question and answer. So yeah, let's begin. Have fun, and first and foremost, I want to congratulate Nuance, Regina, Nala, and Rana for launching their website and completing their FMP. So buat teman-teman semua yang ada di sini, mari kita bantu merayakan proyeknya anak-anak ini yang kolaboratif tapi juga mempunyai ceritanya sendiri-sendiri gitu, dan semoga hari ini kita bisa mendengar proses dan perasaan-perasaan mereka mengenai proyeknya mereka sendiri ya. Oke, cool. So first curiosity nih dari aku. Aku sebenarnya mungkin pengen nanya ke semuanya gitu ya. Can you just briefly explain to the room, to the audience, what the project actually is gitu? Perhaps maybe I'll ask Nala to maybe like explain this a little bit. Nanti yang lain boleh tambahin gitu ya kalau ada yang kurang. Silakan Nala.
Okay. Hi, selamat siang. I'm Nala. So, ini our FMP, The Tales of Durantha, sebenarnya is just a collection of stories featuring our characters that kita semua buat masing-masing that take place kayak in the same kind of like world gitu. Yeah, it's in its most broadest, simplest term kayak gitu sih.
Okay, so a collection of stories in one universe gitu ya Nala ya. Mungkin dari Nuance, Regina, atau Rana ada yang mau nambahin?
Yes, each of the four characters holds different stories because it's all based on their perspective on how they see the world we created, and it's mostly how they react to the conflicts and war that's in the world, and how they try to solve it with in order to save their country or their loved ones, like that.
I see.
Yeah,
okay.
and in a way, all of our characters' actions kind of affect each other, so it's quite a trip.
Yeah.
I know, like a very indirect butterfly effect.
There are some parts where if you have read the stories, there are some parts where it's like you can kind of see it like a little bit, like some of the connections, and there's some where there might be a bit more explicit.
Oke, wow, very interesting. Tadi Rana juga nyimpulinnya dengan itu ya, indirect butterfly effect. Okay, well, that really helps. I guess frame the project in a nutshell gitu ya. So thank you for that brief explanation. Perhaps I want to ask each one of you here to introduce yourself more in depth. Maybe like your name and your project, your character, or like your hobby, or just a little fact about you that you want to share to the room. Mungkin bisa ke Regina dulu.
Hello guys, aku Maria Regina, can call me Regina. I am the creator of Bluebell. It's an illustration book where I compiled tons of pictures of my character in chronological order, from his childhood to the series of events that will lead to other characters' decisions and stuff. Yeah, my hobby is drawing and embroidery. Well, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Regina. Beautiful. I think we can see that that drawing and embroidery hobby reflected in your drawing style too. It was very intricate and detailed. So I didn't know you have embroidery as a hobby. Cool. Okay. Mungkin berikutnya Rana, maybe can you introduce
Hi,
yourself a little bit?
hello. My name is Sabita Rana. You can call me Rana, and I'm the author slash creator of Shallow Promise, which is kind of similar to Regina's, which is like a collection of illustrations that are based on what the main character Clio sees and what he experiences through his like perspective. When I say through his perspective, I mean it. Anyway, my hobbies include, unsurprisingly, drawing. But if there's something else besides drawing, it's just video games. I really like video games. Watching them, playing them, yeah, just I really like video games. That's all.
Nice. What video game are you playing right now, Rana?
Genshin. Okay, for real though. It's
Okay, Genshin Impact ya. I know. I see. Okay. Thank you, Rana. Mungkin next I'll go to Nuance first.
Hi, hi. My name is Nuance Ajani, or in short, Nuance, and I am the author of Morning Glory, and my character is Hikaru. Morning Glory is an illustrated novel, which is a compilation of my writings and my illustration of 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 my character Hikaru, which is mostly about their life in their homeland, Kairhi, and them and their conflicts on their desire to leave their hometown to pursue to find themselves outside world. And my hobby is, well, video games as well, and I also have a great love for any opportunity for storytelling uh medium about materials, because I love stories.
Hmm. Nice. All right. Thank you so much, Nuance. Is that your character behind you in the virtual
Yeah,
background? Hikaru ya?
yeah, it's a bit crowded.
All right. Thank you, Nuance. Next, but last but not least, mungkin Nala bisa introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Nal Nariswari.
Adek gue lagi interview, lagi presentasi.
Oh. Go ahead. Nggak apa-apa.
Sorry. My name is Nal Nariswari. You can just call me Nala. I am the author of All That Was Left Unsaid, and character is Tazanira. All That Was Left Unsaid is a story, sort of like a compilation of a recollection of like three people discussing about an incident that happened in Tazanira's hometown of Foxgrove. And basically, the story kind of each account builds off the other to paint a picture of like what actually happened. Like that. My hobbies is drawing and very recently writing, and especially nowadays it's gaming and gaming, watching or playing games. I like, yeah, I enjoy.
All right. Thank you so much, Nala, Nuance, Rana, Regina, for the beautiful self-introduction. Meskipun singkat, tapi mungkin semoga bisa sedikit jadi lebih kenal sama keempat seniman kita hari ini ya, Pak, Bu, kakak-kakak, teman-teman. So, I wanna now move to the project nih. Kayak we're gonna talk about the project more in depth, but of course, like this is we're at the stage of completion right now, right? But what I really want to know is how like what is the origin of the project? How does the four of you actually come up with this idea, and how is the collaboration actually formed? Because it's pretty unique that we have like a merged FMP like this. So mungkin teman-teman bisa bantu jelasin ke audience juga ya tentang origin of the project gitu. I wanna maybe ask Rana to explain this. Nanti teman-teman yang lain boleh add juga ya. Silakan Rana.
So it all started back in second year. We were playing a visual novel, some of you might know, called The Arcana. So we were playing this visual novel, and apparently you can sort of create your own character. And so we decided to take that almost too literally by creating a whole backstory, this character design, and even names and pronouns. And then we just
apa ya?
started making the characters more in depth and stuff. And then fast forward to the end of second year, I confronted like all other three, since we're the ones who created the characters together. Like, hey, what if we make them and put them into good use, instead of like staying as like a fan character? What if we just make them individual independent characters? Like, we own this now completely. So yeah, it started from there.
Right. Okay. Regina, do you want to add something?
Well, we were really inspired by their mechanics, sama by their play on perspective. Jadi, why not like create our own characters that can kind of be in their shoes gitu. Jadi kayak their mechanic was so interesting because we even like by playing other people's routes, you get to know what will happen on the other person's story. And we decided to explore, and that's how Tales of Durantha was created.
All right. So it all stems at this Arcana game that inspired all four of you individually, but somehow you all came to talk, and let's put it like be obsessed with this game, and somehow it became your main inspiration for this whole other creation. Amazing. That's really beautiful. Nuance or Nala, do you have anything else to add maybe?
I'm just gonna say that before we like officially decide to collaborate, we all like kept like planning like when second year was ending, we were like what's gonna be our FMP, and then we all like you know what, the point is I want to make a story, I want to make something for my character. And then we all have that similar idea, and we're like, and that's where we decide, you know what, why don't we just do it together? Because we know this whole process will definitely have a lots of trials and tribulations. So, and third year's our final year in high school, so we decided, let's just do our final project together for memories and for experience to collaborate together.
That's beautiful, for memories and for experience. Nala, do you want to say something else?
This is just a minor thing. It's like outside of like the practical and like actual real world like reasons why we're doing like a collaboration, like do it together. It's like while we were just talking about the game and like our characters in the context of the games, we used to jokingly make scenarios where they're like together because since it's the same game, then essentially these characters are in the same world. And then with Tales of Durantha, we're just like, let's just make that literal.
Right. Okay. All right. So that's yeah. I feel really humbled to know the entire origin of this project because I mean, seeing from the website, it seems like you four have gone through a lot of process, and so it's really nice to know the origin point of the whole thing. But now maybe what I want to talk about is kind of moving on from that whole initial decision of collaborating and being inspired by Arcana. How was it? How was the next process, the brainstorming process? How was it for all of you to develop from this initial point? What was the experience like for each and every one of you? Maybe. Um, Perhaps I'll go to Nuance first. Maybe Nuance. Nanti yang lain kita bisa tanyain juga.
Okay, like our first brainstorming process was mostly first the world, because we thought like, okay, we already have the characters that's and design, so that's clear, and all we need is the world building, what it's gonna be like, what era does it set on, and we mostly take reference from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and like it's and since we both have we all four of us have a love for fantasy genre, so we decided to go full on fictional on it, and most of the other kind of brainstorming, it's either started from a joke but it becomes serious, like start from like, you know what would be funny if we have this, and but then like along the way we're like, you know what, that's actually a good idea, why don't we actually let's make that actually happen. And apa namanya, it mostly all also we also got all from many other fictional works we're a fan of, so and we all tried to like figure out like, oh, how to make it like based it on this work. And yeah, that's mostly from me. I'll also give it to others.
Mhm. Maybe Rana wants to add something about the brainstorming process.
I mean, what Nance said some about like a joke coming to life was it's so on point. It's funny because there's I can name so many things that happened, and and one of them is there's one time I like to bring up all the time is one time Nala was drawing Tazanira, and then and then the art program went bonkers, and for some reason Tazanira lost an arm. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, stuff like
Relax,
that.
nothing happens in the story. Relax.
Not like it will happen in the story or something.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Maybe.
We'll see.
And you know it's funny because there's also that one time the entire story of Clio was a what if funny. Like when I was designing Clio, I was like, haha, he looks like a pirate. And look where I am right now. Look at this stupid background. Yeah. So basically, as silly as it sounds, a lot of our FMP is built up out of a joke, even
Mm,
though in the end we took it like seriously,
mm.
crack to read it seriously, if you will.
Right, that's beautiful. Started from a lighthearted idea or joke, but somehow is crafted into a really beautiful fruition in the end. So really interesting. Okay, maybe Regina or Nala wants to add to this brainstorming process revealed.
Um, so from like the story building standpoint, Rana and Nuance would already got it on point. That's basically our entire process. From my more technical version, like how are we actually going to do it? Our project, it's like we wanted to work together, but we didn't necessarily want to make one project together. And so each of us still chose their own mediums. I can't say for the others like why they chose their own specific mediums, but for me, the reason why I chose a short novel of all things, even though it's like
Sorry, Dada.
the reason I chose a short novel for me, even though if you knew some of my older projects, like always like visual based, is because one, I wanted to challenge myself to make something new because I always like making stories. I've never finished any of them, either because they're too long or I got distracted by a different story, or it's visually. I kind of learned it from my second year. There was a project about a story, but I didn't finish it. So this one, I wanted to do something that's plausible to finish in a year, like completely like isolated, like its own project, in a year. And I wanted to do it a medium that I'm not completely comfortable with, but I still like, which is writing. And yes, for me, that's why I chose the medium that I did.
Right. Thank you so much, Nala, for that insight. Regina, maybe if you have anything else to add.
Well, for the brainstorming part, actually, it all began mostly in Pinterest. I've been clicking everything that I like and just like putting it into what I want in Vineya, especially the clothes, which I focused on too much, let's just say. Um, yeah, other than that, I took some inspirations in actual events in the world, especially on the villains and on my character's character. Well, yeah, that's just it.
All right. So, thank you, Nuance, Nala, Regina, and Rana. So, we have because the project, like Nala said, you all know you want to make something together, but um, that you all each have an idea of your own as well, and that's how Tales of Durantha came to be, and how it started as this really this joke, to borrow Nuance and Rana's term, ya. Tapi somehow going through the process, the collaborative process, it became um, these very imaginative and well crafted fruition in the end. And of course, the process differs from one artist to another. Tadi Nala juga sempat ngejelasin tentang kenapa Nala milih mediumnya, Regina juga. So very very insightful. Thank you for that insight. Perhaps next I wanna talk more in depth about characters, because let's face it, this project is heaven for a character building nerd. um, it's just because all four of you are have created for different characters along with their stories as well, and perhaps I want to talk a bit more about that. So maybe if each of you can elaborate on your character, their background, how you came to develop them, and maybe their contribution to the story too. Uh, Perhaps I would like to go for Nala first, if you don't mind, and then we'll rotate.
Okay. Just off the bat first, I want to ask everybody else, since we're talking about the characters, there we might delve into like maybe minor spoiler territory for like all our stories. Is that good? Because like it's kind of impossible not to go into spoiler territory. Is so we good, everyone?
That's good.
All right. Okay. So for me, my character is Tazanera. In their story, Tazanera is a florist working and living in the town of Foxgrove. They're working alone in their family shop while their mother is bedridden and their aunt is out of town traveling. Their father has unfortunately passed away. They're a bit of a recluse. They don't really interact with a lot of people in town except for the Dution family, which already are family friends of theirs. That's what Tazanir is in the story. Tasnira back then, before we developed them, was a wee bit different. For starters, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say Tasnira back then was a bit more evil, I guess. Tasnira, when I first started making Tasnira back in the Arcana days when we were still playing it, I didn't really put too much thought into it. I was just doing what I felt enakaja, like in context with like the game. So like what the game built off, like is what I made into the character. But Tasnir eventually like evolved into this like sort of cynical, sort of like sarcastic, like very kaya mean character. To put it the simplest way, they were really mean back then. I mean, they're kind of still a bit mean in the story, but it's more of a sarcastic jab more than anything else. Like old Tanzania, they were like, it's best not to be near them, I think. And because they used to be like that, the original story of All That Was Left Unsaid was in turn supposed to be a little bit more not dark, but it's less like Tanzania is less nice than what it is. Originally, Tanzania was gonna do what they did intentionally, like out of pure spite, whilst in the actual story, it's all like not a coincidence. It's just uh, like seriously, it's just a series of unfortunate events, basically. But in the original draft, they did everything out of spite, and it kind of snowballed into something worse. But because of that, as I was developing the story, and I had to develop the other characters, right, that were gonna be their victims. But one of the characters, if you've read the story, there's a character named Joseph who I created over time to kind of be close to Sazanira. At first, it was supposed to be because it was going to be more tragic to like what happened to him. Originally, in the draft of the story, he was gonna get hurt, and that's what's gonna send Tazanira into a spiral into doing more bad stuff. But I find it a little too mean, and also he kind of grew on me. Like this character Joseph grew on me, so I didn't really want anything bad happen to him. And because of him, Tazanir's character kind of softened because it's like if Tazanir has somebody who's as nice as this as a friend, who genuinely likes them as a friend, then Tazanir can't be all that bad. Um and so Tazanir developed into like a little less meaner, but still a bit of like socially distanced character. Um and that's how I ended up with the character I have now. They're a bit of a recluse. They don't like people, but they tolerate the people that they already know. So that's how it ended up. Though I have to say, Tanzania is not as developed as I would 100% like. There's still a little bit that I'd like to fix, but I'm still happy where they are now. So yeah, that's me.
All right. Thank you so much for that elaborate insight, Nala. Okay, Nala is the creator of Tasanira ya. Jadi kalau teman-teman ke websitenya Tales of Durantha, maybe we can also see how that was reflected, how Nala's story just now was reflected in the story gitu in the website. Thank you, Nala. Mungkin berikutnya Regina, if you want to explain a little bit about your character development. You're still muted. Sorry.
Well, Nereida began as like a really happy-go-lucky character before Tales of Durantha happened when we were just having fun. He used to like just spend days baking bread and stuff, but now, well, let's just say that I developed him quite a lot. I mean, he's not really perfect, but well, he has like a really developed backstory, and I've developed his personality so much more. So let's just say I've got a better grasp about him now. And so, well, Nereida is a nobleman living in Vineya, a country in the middle of war. He comes to question the corruption of his own country system and the harsh reality between people with different class, enduring and surviving every day with their upbringings. And he comes to the conclusion that, yeah, maybe I need to do something about it. And yeah, uh, character wise, he's actually a very introverted person. He just likes to spend his days with his mother figure, just cooped up in a room, maybe drawing stuff or maybe just chatting or reading. But after the succession of his brother, things went downhill because apparently he has secretly been kind of spiteful of Nereida. So things went downhill really quick, and he kind of realized things that he didn't notice because he kept on being cooped up in his room, and realized that, oh my god, there's so much things going on and I don't know, and it's so wrong, I need to fix it. But I guess he kind of end up doing it in the wrong way and meeting some characters, Nala's character, midway. And well, yeah, that's basically what Nereida is.
Okay. Thank you. Wow, we had a little cliffhanger there when Regina said Nereida is going to bersinggungan ya sama si Tasanira karakternya Nala. That's interesting. So if you all want to read the whole story for that, make sure you read the website, yeah, that these four artists have published. Consider this whole talk like a promo for your website and yeah, supaya orang-orang pada baca ceritanya secara penuh ya di situ. Thank you so much, Regina. Mungkin aku move ke Nuance to give a little bit of an insight in your character development process.
Okay, so like all of my friends, it started from Arcana. Hikaru first started off as a magician who's trying to live their life every day to uh to apa namanya, to figure out who they are, and mostly in Arcana, yeah, it's I didn't put much thought about it. I just like, yeah, this is what they look like. I didn't thought much of the character. And then when I decided to make it serious, I looked through all my characters I usually make, and they're always so obviously good or obviously bad. And I decided to, like, you know what, maybe I should give it a try and make a character with have a very great area on their humanity and have this questionable sense of morality that cannot be put in good or bad. And so that's how I first start for the development for Hikaru. And in the story, it's mostly about them when uh, they have become Hikaru is a young noble living in this secluded country called Kairhi, and they have been living a life too comfortable. They have achieved nothing for their life. So, and they've come to the question of their sheltered life and what are they here for to exist. And one day his their younger sister Akari was planned to leave Kairi for for a diplomat reason. And and Hikaru realizes that how come they have been not giving that kind of opportunity to leave as well, because whenever they talk about uh wanting to leave their homeland, it seems to be a very forbidden thing to talk about, that the native Kairians have to stay in their land to protect and take care of it. And Hikaru become like suspicious of their secretive history. So, and they decide to like to finally decide to leave their homeland to figure out what's going on on the outside world, and why their homeland is so secretive toward the outside world. And I would say, for one, they pretty much uh, in the story, in my story so far, they're pretty much a good person who's trying to a good uh, a person who's trying to figure out their places and where their morality lies. Like, one, they love their family, but same time they also want to figure out who they are in their life, and they want to uh, set out and on their own to apa namanya, to discover the truth of of their origin and their country. So along the way, a big chain of misfortune happened, and when because of their long desire to leave their homeland, it became to their realization they have to sacrifice many things to get to their dream of leaving their place. And along the way, on when they when they no longer get the letter from their sister Akari, they decide it's time to leave. And during their adventure on their journey, they met Clio, and they decided uh, to team up together and go on a journey together to find out about the truth of the world, like that.
Oh, oh, yeah. Nuance. We saw the picture here. Rana just put on the virtual background. Yeah, that's a really emotional scene for me personally. Telling all of you too. Okay, wow, it's very interesting to know that in depth directly from you, Nuance. So thank you so much for that insight. And last but not least, mungkin nyambung tadi karena karakternya juga nyambung. Sekarang mungkin ke Rana. How was the character development process for Clio, Rana? If you want to explain.
It's funny because uh well, just like others, it all started with Arcana. But if I were to describe, Clio is almost completely different from what he is right now. Back then, he was violent, grumpy, and also has like a wax sense of morality. But at the same time, he's also just he's a dangerous guy. That's how we should put it. But the thing that is still the same is that he's also a pirate. Except this time, he's the one he's the leader. He's the one who wrecks stuff. He's the one who's the mastermind behind the weird dangerous stuff happening around the seas or whatever.
Mm.
It's that different. Meanwhile, current Clio, he's just a boy. He's just an innocent child surrounded by sad people. Like uh to put it simply, I just like what Nala said. I hope you guys don't mind spoilers, but to put it simply, he's been abducted from his old like home somewhere, and he, as a child, he does not really remember like where he's from or whatever. But a certain person, if you guys read the story, there is an old man with a blue jacket thingy, and he's the one who's been keeping the lookout for that boy in the pirate ship. Okay, Cleo. So he's like the one person like who genuinely like actually cares about Cleo, and he's the one who basically raised them until he's an adult. And then, but then one day, Cleo found out like some, it's like a bit of the truth of like, because there's like a page of him picking up a picture, and that's him. It's a photograph of him as a child. But where did that come from? He doesn't remember his past. So when he was about to, confront the person who raised him, it's a really bad time because they've been ambushed. Oops. And then it did not go well because since Cleo has been raised well as a child, he's been protected so much. He still has the perspective of a child. So when he sees something violent or brutal, he can't even like physically or perceive it. That's why I use that sudden art style change of black pixels, red, white, and sudden color change, because he did not expect that. He just couldn't handle it well. And then, by some unfortunate turn of events, he 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 ended up having to, you know, escape somehow. But it didn't go well, and he ended up getting dumped in the ocean and never saw that old man again. But
Mm.
then he wakes up in a house and he's okay, because apparently someone saved his life, which is the redhead you guys probably saw. I really regret that he only has one page, because there's so much more to him. I just don't have I just don't have like the energy to like make so many pages of it. So, long story short, Clio lives in that town for a while, with that red-headed man, and uh, until one day he decided, yeah, I'm gonna continue my journey. I saw that photo. I know my hometown is still out there somewhere. And then, yeah, that's where he decided to travel into the seas and, well, you know, met them. Yeah. That's,
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Rana. Thank you to all actually for such an elaborate explanation on the each of the characters. Yeah. Um, it's so beautiful and interesting how there will be points of entanglements between your characters. I find that I think it's just so vulnerable and because probably because I know of your friendship, because you're in the same school and you're in this project together, but uh I would assume that if just a reader doesn't really know about your background, how you're all friends in real life, and just like waiting to see that point of encounter between each characters, that will be so mesmerizing, and it will really be like you'll be waiting for that point to arrive, like, oh, so that's how Cleo met Hikaru, and so on and so forth. So that's beautiful. Thank you so much for the character background and development insight. um Perhaps next, if any of you wants to tell us of the planning process and the production process, and what issues probably have surfaced along that process. Ini ada yang menghela nafas nih, kayaknya ini berat, bagian yang berat nih. So yeah, maybe just try to explain bagaimana prosesnya setelah brainstorming selesai, karakternya udah mulai terbentuk, masalah-masalah apa yang kemudian muncul, dan gimana cara menghadapinya sendiri atau bersama-sama, dan lain-lain. Mungkin bisa dimulai dari Nala kali ya. How was it for you, Nala?
For me, it started off well and then it spiraled really bad. It spiraled horrendously. I had actually, okay, when it came to planning, I knew that I wanted it to be like split into 3 chapters. There are 3 characters that are directly involved with the incident that happens in the town, and I wanted to get their 3 perspectives. Um, but the thing about it is, because they're 3 different point of views, but they're in the same timeline, there's gonna be parts where like one character sees this, but while they're doing that, another character over here is doing this, but it's at the exact same time. So like if it's one timeline, it's gonna be difficult, which it was. So what I did is like I split the timeline into 3 different timelines, each from the perspective of a different character. So there's this one for Tasmania, it starts from here, and then there's one for Joseph. It starts from here, maybe a little bit overlapping with Tasmania's until it reaches here, and then Felix's, it starts from where Joseph left off until where the story ended, and that's what happened. Aside from that, I also started experimenting slash just starting the story outright, by writing scenarios that I already had a clear vision, or like writing everything that I could think of that I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good scene. And then when after project 3, after when the midterm holidays started, New Year's, I actually already started production because it was like I wanted to get the ball rolling as fast as I could, like as early as I could. And originally, I had a really good rhythm. Like I wrote what I could, and then when I took a break from writing, like I got stuck. I went to do illustrations that I planned for the story, which there's only like I had planned to do 3 colored big illustrations for all of them for like chapter covers, and then like mini illustrations inside to emphasize some points. But because of time, at the end, I had to sacrifice those mini illustrations for just the big main illustrations on the covers. You can still see them on the website, actually, in the archives. I put them up there. Um, so overall, the planning was it's pretty simple, and production was also easy. But the issues that arrived was like there were some things that popped up during that time, kind of makes me have to like stop and deal with it. And then everything got stunted, and I started to panic, obviously. And then when our second semester started, I got overwhelmed because it was like when we were given the rundown of like P4, there was like looking back on it, there's not a lot of stuff, but like me already in a like boy that I'm not done. I'm not even like halfway through my project at that point. At least not where I would feel halfway. And then suddenly giving like this barrage of like new stuff, and I'm just like, and I'm just like, oh no. And so I kind of panicked. But the biggest issue for me, I think, has to be college, because in January we started like application and like for colleges, and like for some colleges you have to already do the test, which is one of the ones that I tried to apply for. The test was in January, and so I kind of couldn't work on it, and that bumped me out even more. And even when I was finished with the college for a while, I was really bummed out. I hit an artist block, like an art block, and it kind of killed my mood because like I couldn't do any work there. And then the deadline was ever approaching, and there's more stuff that I have to deal with, and so it just keeps piling up until I'm like, I kind of like I panicked. There's a lot of panic and procrastination during this entire thing. Um, Eventually, I did like finish it, but let's just say in the final few weeks of like me working on this FMP, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. Like I stayed up until like 3 a.m. working on it, and then slept for like 2 hours, and then started doing again, and that's it. So that's basically my entire process.
Okay, Nala, thank you so much. A lot of ups and downs and sacrifices, yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
and external influences too. But really, really glad that it all turned out to be as they are now. So yeah, thank you so much, Nala. Perhaps next, I want to go to Rana to ya mungkin bisa ceritain sedikit nih strugglesnya apa Rana, terus gimana production prosesnya. Yeah, if you want to tell a little bit about that.
Okay, so the production process, as in stuff like, drawing, which is honestly the only thing I had to do. Drawing, it was fun. I spent like 5 or 3 or 2 hours on the drawing, depending. But the one thing that made it all so hard and so stressful is, of course, the deadlines. Okay, so every I also have a big problem that is procrastination. So sometimes I think like, oh, it's still a few weeks. I can draw something in like 5 hours. It's not a big deal. I can just do it later. And then when I later became like a week before the deadline, so I was like, oh no, what have I done? So, oops. And by some miracle, I managed to draw like at least 20 something pages. Not in a week, of course, but like still, it's the fact that I even did it in such a short period of time is baffling to me. Well, long story short, the one thing that I had issues with are deadlines and the proposals, the visual journals. But then again, that is to be expected because that you kind of need them. You kind of you really need them. Like visitors, that's understandable. You have to put all of your research in that thing and document whatever you want. But sometimes I wish I can do this project without having to do any of that. But that's you can't even kalau even in the school, kalau di sekolah di apa gitu, when you want to make a project like this, you just can't go straight to the production if you want it to go right, whatever. But besides the deadlines that stresses you out, it's similar like college applications. Like that thing is determinant of my future, man. I have the FMP. I also have like I don't know West Bend. I have the college. I have all three to think about, and the deadlines only make it worse. And I'm like, and then if I swear, if they found me still awake at 2 a.m., they did not see anything. I might have snitched myself there. I did not stay up till 2 a.m., I swear. Okay, yeah, that's all.
All right. Okay, so we've seen similarities nih di antara Nala sama Rana again with the college applications ya. But Rana especially is talking about deadlines and visual journal too gitu ya. Jadi even though it might be more load work, but I was surprised that you told us that it's necessary too. So yeah, thank you Rana for your insight on that process. I'm glad that Clio is already brought into the world, though, amidst the entire turmoil that happened. Mungkin next, I want to go to Redina to give us a little insight about the whole production and if there's any issue that you faced.
Jadinya ya from the beginning, I actually wanted to make a zine. So I wanted to have at least an illustration and then like maybe a little explanation or a little short story, maybe a really compact one, but I bit too much than the yeah. I was too ambitious, let's just say. So yeah, it all began from wanting to make really not undetailed illustrations and focusing more on my writing to explore to yeah, I don't think this will work out, and oh no, the deadline's too close. I guess I'll just draw and change my tactics into an illustration book. So maybe yeah, maybe the readers can find clues on my drawings. That's kind of interesting, right? So yeah, that's how it all started. Yeah, I did a lots of experiments on my art style. For example, trying to make an illustration in about 15 minutes and trying a medium tired one that's maybe I could spend like 3 hours on it, but I ended up painting all of my illustrations. So because I couldn't help myself, and that's how I came to a decision to creating an illustration book, which is all painted, all 15 pages or 14 pages. Well, I'm actually quite proud on the final result, but man, it was so hard to make it. Like the other two, I also have to think about college exams and TBK and yeah, some side jobs I did too. So it was hard, but I didn't regret any of it. Even though I was supposed to make one more picture with Rana's character, it was actually a pretty major part of the story. That's the only part I didn't get to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Well,
yeah, I also had a part in that. There was supposed to be Nereida in the story as well. We just didn't have the time to, think of it together.
yeah.
Oops.
So I just simplified everything else and emphasized on my illustration skills. Yeah, and I got to admit, it really downgraded my visual quality. I just put in simple sentences and no illustrations. And I have to admit, I was really bad at documenting my work. But yeah, I think it was worth it. Yeah, that's it.
Oke, cool. Jadi ada satu casualty ya dari apa isu ini gitu, either deadline or college application, etc. That resulted to one of the scenes being left out of the story. But I mean, I guess like you can always just continue, some other
Yeah.
time, right? That's like the best thing about this is because like you're all friends in real life, so like there's not really a limit to like whether you want to cap it at which point you can still continue. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see if it might progress in the future too. Thank you, Regina and Rana. And last but not least, maybe we go to Nuance for her insight on her process and probably some issues that she's faced during this phase. Silakan, Nuance.
Uh, right. My first idea for the whole, from the project was originally I wanted to make a comic out of it because like comic is like a very important personal medium for me. I've always read comic from when I was little, so that kind of like gave impact for me on storytelling. And like uh and throughout the whole process, I think I keep repeating a mistake I really know where I am so always really flawed on. It's too much research. Like I focus on things that I always focus on the wrong thing, where it's like I'm supposed to be focusing on experimenting, but turns out I'm like, oh, you know what, this, like, there's this concept and idea of a philosophy. I I I was so interested. I'm like, why don't I put that in my story? And I over research too much about it. And also like I research too much on the medium instead of doing it, and uh like writing and illustrating and like the style of the coloring techniques and stuff. Instead I do more on the researching than experimenting. But both the research phase and the experiment phase was my favorite part. One, the research is with that. I genuinely enjoy research too. Experimenting, I get to like, explore all my skills as an artist. And I this was like the first time I actually did digital art, because I'm a real late bloomer when it comes to digital art. I just baru ini apa namanya, this FMP I finally pursue digital art. And then uh it and but it ended with me like deciding not to go with comic, because looking at the time and my own personal time management, I realized like I don't think I can make like a full flesh story with comic, because there's scripting, there is uh about writing down the visualizing and the coloring balance. So I realized like uh I look at through my writings, like my writings for like the ideas, the story, the plot points. I realized like, you know what, I think I should just write all, because like when I look through my notes, I felt like I was more expressive on the writings. And I decided to like make it and make few illustrations as well for my apa namanya, for my little my small my short novel. So I was able to like I was planning to make a lot of illustration at first, but I was a bit I was too ambitious, because I couldn't I realized I couldn't balance between writing and uh illustrating. So I only illustrated a few and spend more time on writing to finish the story.
Mm.
And my issue is like the same as others. I'm sorry to bore you, but yes, college is what mostly is what's mostly in the way, and my own time management is still in need of improving. But most of all, I don't really regret what I chose. Sure, I was too ambitious, but like looking at the end, it was actually good like that.
All right. Thank you, Nuance. Thank you, Nala, Regina, and Rana. We see a clear similarity to the issues that the four artists faced during the whole FMP, especially towards the end, ya mungkin ya, with college applications and the looming deadlines, etc. But I'm really glad, for what it's worth, I'm really glad that you all have each other, because yeah, perhaps like the issue was shared, like it's a common issue, and therefore mungkin pada bisa semangatin satu sama lain juga gitu pas pas itu semua terjadi. But I mean, we can talk about that later, maybe like the whole dynamic of the group, etc. Thank you for the insight on particularly that the production process ya. Nah, kita mungkin ke sesi terakhir sebelum question and answer, which is the exhibition part. Like, how was it like finishing the FMP, wrapping up the project, launching the website, preparing for the artist talk? How was it like, this process? Mungkin aku bisa tanya satu orang, nanti yang lain bisa tambahin aja ya. I'll probably go to Regina for this. Regina, what do you think about this whole process? Just like the finishing towards the completion.
Well, the only thing I can say for like the four of us is like that we are extremely relieved. It's like all of our burdens, like at least a good chunk of them has like flew away. So yeah, the first thing we felt was like relieved, but we had so like quite a lot of difficulties with Wix and the way we were gonna display our project. I remember four of us being in a call for like about 4 hours or more, and trying to figure out what to do, which goes where, and how does this work? Because it may seem simple, but yeah, we had to research everything. I remember it being really chaotic, but yeah, we eventually figured it out after me and Ala remained at the call for another 1 hour, even though it was such a simple way. Like, we were having a really difficult time trying to link each pages into each other, but yeah, we eventually figured it out. And I think we had really good teamwork on this one. Even though the condition of editing was kind of hard, each of us has to be like on the editing kind of software once at a time. That was the most difficult part, but we alternated, and I think we did it in a really good way because our yeah, there wasn't lots of mishaps at all. Because I remember it being kind of smooth, but I think the time crunch was like the most difficult part because yeah, we can only edit one by one, and the deadline is getting closer. So yeah, I remember all of us having to edit the website last minute, and we extended like the publishing time to at least 10 minutes. But I think we did really well on the exhibition part, and I'm really proud of us. Yes.
You should be. You should be proud of everyone. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Regina. Maybe Nuance, Nala, and Rana wants to add something to this part.
Okay, I would say when we were planning, we already planned from the beginning, like okay, if online, definitely website, and we started on Wix. And when throughout like the whole idea of making the website, the layout and designing, I admit we were too ambitious on like, oh, I want our website to be this fancy, this detailed and good looking, but it really we really like past forgot the fact that we all four of us have no knowledge on website making at all. We were just like dreaming too much, like, oh, we want like this, we want this good, but like the whole process was it was difficult, yeah, but it was lesson because we kind of had like a we have like good communication, and like we always like, guys, I can do it right now, so you can take over. So it's we always like take over if we're too busy or our internet is bad. So we always like, I was like, can you take can I do this, can Regina do this? And we always ask like, can Rana help with the designing buttons, can Regina also help designing the backgrounds or blah blah, and also helping like understanding uh how to connect the pages to one another. That was like the most I always have issued with. So I we always, yeah, we kind of like fill each other's gaps on everything we have issues with. And when we released it, it was like yeah, what Regina said, we had like a minor issue with it, so we somewhat like do a quick review and fixing. But like when we like give it finally like published uh our website, felt like, wow, everybody's gonna see it. They said they're gonna see our work, and the thing we've been kept, this the artwork we kept like for like a year, and finally everybody's seeing it in public. Like that's like, wow. Oh wow. Like that.
Oh
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah. Yeah, the gravity of that fact, right? Like it's going to be revealed soon to the public. Yeah, it must be terrifying but also exciting. And like Regina said, you guys should really be proud. See, it's a really big achievement. Yeah, and it's so emotional hearing Nuan said that apa kalian sama-sama saling mengisi gitu satu sama lain, like filling up and backing up each other and really working towards this completion collaboratively. So that's really something to behold, something to be proud of. Rana, tadi kamu angkat tangan, do you want to add anything?
I mean, most of it is said by Nancy, but I also want to say that it's kind of, Wix is a jerk, but that's also amusing.
Yeah, there you go.
Because like, you know what? Sometimes I wake up in the morning, check my Discord notification, said, "Hey, ada yang lagi pakai web gak?" It's 3 a.m. And then also times where I'm a very boomer when it comes to laptops or websites, but I rarely use the laptop. So when I try designing that website for like my own pages, whatever, I'm like, I keep trying to contact the others, like, "Hey Nala, where are the arrows? Where are they gone? Where is it? Nala, please get in here. I don't know how to use the website." And then she gets in and I was like, "Run, it's just white."
Right.
I that thing is, I really feel kind of bad, like dragging them down, because like I have no idea how to use a laptop.
Fine.
I see. It's all good now, though. I see the arrows clearly in your section, Rana.
Yay.
Nala, did you have anything else to add, me?
For the most part, the others already filled in the big parts. I guess I want to say minor thing, but it's not really minor thing. Similar to like our production with the actual like project itself, there is another bump that we sort of had to go through, especially in like the beginning of March. Tests, UTBK. Like all of us had our own tests to deal with, and because with the nature of like Erudio, we had to spend a good chunk focus on studying first, and so it kind of like there was a lull in like production when it came to the website, while all of us were like focused on studying. Once half of us udah tesnya, we started focusing back on lagi to the website, because like half of the group udah bisa kerja lagi. So it's like, yeah, let's continue this.
Right. Okay. Well, for everything that's been told, the issues and the ups and downs and everything, we're so grateful that you guys pushed through the entire hardships of this process, and we can finally enjoy your FMP in your website, yeah, in this Wix yang tadi kata Rana. It's a bit of a Nyusahin ya websitenya. But I've put the link of the website in the chat supaya teman-teman kita yang datang bisa akses. Really check it out because it's a really well-made website, very immersive and experiential, and it highlights each project beautifully, but as well it can combine the entire thing seamlessly too. So congratulations once again, Nuance, Nala, Regina, and Rana. So now we've come to the question and answer portion. And so I welcome any question or any responses dari peserta Zoom ini. Boleh banget langsung unmute atau raise hand atau langsung tulis di chat juga. Nanti bisa kita langsung. Oh, oke, langsung ada nih. Oh, halo Bu Ira dan Pak Imron. Hai.
Hai Bu.
Mira.
Hai, Bu Ira masih di mute, Bu. You got a haircut. You got a haircut, Bu.
Hai Bu.
Silakan Bu Ira, Pak Imron kalau mau menyampaikan apapun ke seniman-seniman kita.
Aku tuh dari tadi deg-degan. Aku selalu setiap kali dengerin presentasi seperti ini, tapi
Bu Ira, suaranya rada kecil, Bu.
oh, suaranya kecil banget ya. Can you hear me now? Bisa dengar?
Kecil dikit sih.
Bisa dengar?
Ya.
Yes.
Ya, aku tuh dari tadi deg-degan gitu karena takut banget cengeng untuk karena anyway, Nuance, Nala, Regina, Rana, selamat banget ya. Selamat, kita juga tadi udah menikmati di website. Luar biasa, gambar-gambarnya, storiesnya, itu, waduh, nggak tahu deh. Cuman, the congratulation part itu udah semuanya pasti akan menyelamati kalian ya. Cuman dari tadi itu aku penasaran banget gitu ya. Tadi pertanyaannya Kak Karin kan tentang kolaborasi. Terus aku ngelihat Nuance, ngelihat Nala, Regina, Rana dengan masing-masing karakter gitu ya. Aku ngebayangin ya, bayangan aku nih ya, Nuance yang overthink, tadi bilang over research, yang untuk Nuance itu deadline itu ada lifesaver gitu ya. Kalau nggak deadline nggak selesai karena she's a very perfectionist gitu ya. Dari setiap part dipikirin gitu. Nala yang go getter, yang juga kayaknya harus ke sini, ke kanan, ke kiri, terus gitu ya. Aku ngebayanginnya that is the character of Nala gitu ya. Terus kayak Rana itu actually know what she wants gitu, tapi sebelum dia tahu apa yang dia ingini, dia pasti panik. Banyak panik gitu. Regina yang sangat soft gitu ya, juga strong will, juga moody gitu ya. Dan saya ngebayanginnya dalam bentuk pandemi, kalian ini berempat ya. Misalnya let's say the project is like 100% gitu ya. Kalian tuh berkomunikasinya berapa, gimana ya? Ataukah lebih banyak bekerja sendiri atau setiap progres dibicarain atau gimana ya? Atau ada yang take lead gitu? Menurut kalian siapa ini yang istilahnya yang paling ini? Apa bukan leader ya? Apa ya istilahnya Kak Karin?
Oke. Bu Ira, you're breaking up. Koneksinya rada sedikit buruk kayaknya.
Ayo gitu. Ada nggak? Boleh nggak diceritain that part? Siapa part yang diambil oleh Nala, Regina, Nuance sampai akhir?
Oke. Bu Ira, aku coba rangkum ya mungkin pertanyaannya karena tadi rada sedikit lagging di aku. Aku nggak tahu buat yang lain apakah dengar, tapi with the four of you being the four of you, ada nggak yang like satu orang yang mungkin the cheerleader of the group, satu orang yang mungkin the person who kinda like make sure deadline-nya terpenuhin, satu orang lagi ada yang mungkin the technical go-to person, or like gimana kayak dinamikanya secara kolaboratif, is it ada nggak yang kayak designated roles yang kayak gitu selama proses ini?
I think it's all of us. Karena kayak, I think we take turns being like the cheerleader, like being the technical person, like depending on like our skill set, I guess. Kayak misalnya Nala, she's like the one that kind of like help us the most in the website. But yeah, it also depends on like our internet connection.
Yes.
Misalnya when kayak Nala's internet connection is kayak lagi bagus, kayak she is the go-to person to like ask to upload stuff. Maybe it's me sometimes, or maybe it's like some other person. Gitu.
Yeah, I would say like, yeah, I'm the one who always like throwing concept to them, like, guys, let's have this in ini. But I always like have trouble with the execution. So Regina sama Rana always fill that gaps for me, and Nala is the one who manages our time actually. Like, okay, like don't forget in this day we have to have this, and she's the one that managed the rundown of our art stock, because I don't think I can do that as well. I wouldn't know. And yeah, she always yeah, because she add like we have to do this on this day and check out if we can do this. And uh yeah yeah, we most of all we were each other's cheerleaders, because before releasing it to the public, we were a fan of each other's work. Yeah, we were like each other's fans. So kaya, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we have this? Like we just give each other's feedback before releasing the website, like that.
Yeah, especially like when I wrote something terus kayak gimana nih, menurut kamu gimana, kayak is the grammar good, do you think, kayak should I like rehash it again, or like maybe one of us sends a picture that we will put on like the actual website, terus kayak we ask for each other's opinions, kayak misalnya ini mendingan hitam putih atau enggak ya, atau mendingan ini should I like flip the canvas, gitu aja sih.
And wait, and if there's a role I do have, it's making things as lighthearted as possible, so no offense. Like if you guys saw the poster for the series as a whole in our Instagram, you should see the concept art because I need that. I wanted to like make things as funny, lighthearted as possible, no tension at all. There's so many. So basically I'm the squad clown. I'm the clown of the squad because like there's so many things I tried to make like something you see without tense or takut or whatever, because come on bro, you're supposed to have fun with this project. That's why we're all doing this, right? Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, I think Nala also helped us with like the world building, like both of us. Like, sometimes we talk about, hey, what does like Durantha look like? And then we kind of give ourselves references, I guess. Sometimes Nala kind of draws like the thing that I was imagining, and then it really helped me get a grip on what I was thinking. Gitu.
Oke, Bu Ira.
Satu lagi boleh nggak Kak Karin ask questions?
Oke, boleh, silakan Bu
Satu
Ira.
lagi ya. Kalau seingat aku nih ya, maksudnya kayak udah lama banget aku nggak ketemu kalian. Then I just realized that
No, is she?
Oh,
Oh no.
Ira, you okay?
Bu Ira, we can't hear you.
Wira.
tahu banget. Ya suaranya. Halo.
Iya. Sekarang ya.
Bisa dengar nggak?
Iya, sekarang ya.
Iya.
Iya.
Oke. Nuance, aku as far as I remember, kamu selalu seperti yang saya ingat, kamu always wanna launch your own book ya, maksudnya a story teller, a writer gitu ya. Terus kayak Nala, an illustrator, Regina, apa namanya?
Oh no, not again.
Oh God. Oh no. Wira, come back to us.
Awal-awal yang aku ingat, you are into fashion gitu ya.
Into fashion.
Masih
Fashion.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Regina pernah into fashion, Rana selalu
Oh no.
You say animation?
Rana selalu apa?
I
Illustrate.
Bu Ira, no.
Don't leave me hanging.
Bu Ira?
Oh no.
Gimana? I'm back? Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Yeah.
Tadi
Nah, aku
Rana?
pengen tahu, so what's next gitu for Nuance, Nala, Regina, Rana, apa sih so to college or what? Aku pengen penasaran.
Well, we are going to college, tapi kayak we have plans for Tales of Durantha juga sih. We already have.
Yes.
Itu udah
Don't worry, we're
mikir-mikir.
not abandoning it. We're not abandoning it. That's
don't
the
wanna
thing.
abandon it.
We won't.
There's too much.
We're just gonna take a break for the time being and focus on other things. Like explore other things of ourselves like that.
Yeah, we spent lots of blood, sweat, and tears on this thing. We're not abandoning it.
Yeah.
We already came up with lots of world building, kayak misalnya the mythologies and stuff. But not now. But we
Not
have
but
it
not now.
Not now.
We need to breathe.
So for now, in the foreseeable future, a break, focusing on other parts of yourself, but also not abandoning Tales of Durantha. That's beautiful. Okay. Bu Ira, I hope it answers.
Planning to go to college, yeah. So you guys all plan to go to college.
Yep.
College.
What?
College.
Oh yeah, college.
Yes.
Oh.
Nuance, what major you pursue, Nala, Regina, and Rana?
go
Okay, if major in college, I would say I thought this through many times, and I think 3 years of being in art school is enough for me to to grasp like the whole art the world of art, what it's like. And I decided I want to like take a break from that and focus on other things I'm interested. So if when it comes to college, I decide I want to major into something that's really far away from, and not really far away from art, but practical art. Basically, I'm planning to major in philosophy in 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 my for my college year, because I really thinking this through, and I think like besides art, I really love exploring and again thinking and of other of many things, and critical thinking is what I really what I've learned to like during in my time in Erudio. So I think philosophy fits for me for my college major. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Nuance. Yang lain mungkin kalau mau kasih spoiler on your major choice, Rana?
This is like very unspecified because I have a lot of things I want to explore. But the best case scenario would be, I really love art. I would love to like explore like another medium, like out of, or like explore a medium I wanted to do but couldn't, which is like animation or whatever. But looking at my state, I honestly thought, yeah, it's hard to find an art school for me because color blindness and all. So I had to consider something else. Like one of them is sastra, or psychology, or criminology. So like something around criminology is out of nowhere. Like maybe that's because I spent too much time in I forgot the class name. How could I forget? So there's a class in Heredio that I always like stopping.
Forensic.
Yeah.
Forensic
forensic
science.
I spent too much time in forensic science, and I might actually consider criminology.
Nice.
So yeah, that's all.
Cool. A lot of options for Rana. Okay. Nala and Regina, maybe?
Well, apa ya? I definitely am going for the cafe because well, I have so many things I want to do. Jadi gimana ya? So for now, I'm gonna choose something that I can use on different pathways, I guess. because I am interested in fashion, I'm interested in Kriya, and I'm interested in what's it called? Well, I have so many things I'm interested in, so yeah, so I'm just gonna go for a neutral road, I guess, and I'll just go with the flow.
Nice. Sounds great, Regina. Thank you. Nala, mungkin what's your major spoiler?
I've actually so I applied to like a few colleges. I've actually already been admitted to one. Udah masuk one of them. Just waiting for like announcement of the others if I get accepted into those. The school, one of them, they're both like visual communication, like design komunikasi itu. Yes, it's because a lot of the things that I really enjoy doing and want to continue doing fall under the umbrella of like design visual communication. So that's definitely like the road that I want to go down. Though there are like between the places that I try to apply for, ada beda dikit like jalurnya. There's one that's like you get to kind of choose right out of the gate, and there's another one where it's like, oh, nanti kamu you just sign up here first, and then we'll figure out kamu bagusnya di mana nanti during our time gitu, something like that. So, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Nala, Regina, Rana, Nuance.
Semuanya, miss you. Mudah-mudahan kita bisa ketemu ya.
Thank you, Bu Ira, atas layered questions-nya. I'll remove the spotlight from Bu Ira ya. Thank you, Bu Ira, Pak Imran. Okay, we actually have a question from YouTube. And I'm gonna read it to all of you ya. There's a question on YouTube atas nama Oh My Game. Interesting name, OMG. Each of the story are great, and my favorite is the one that left unsaid. I want to ask to the artist, how do you develop the universe? It's so rich, both from the stories and character development itself. Okay.
Artist, like as in us, or like one specific person?
Yeah, I was wondering that. Is it just one person, or are they asking all of us?
I think perhaps for all that was left unsaid.
Oh boy. For me, okay, so all that was left unsaid. Where do I start? Oh boy. I guess it all started with Tanzania. Tanzania, I had mentioned beforehand that Tanzania was kind of like a bad person in originally, like their first, I guess, incarnation. And one a thing I didn't mention is actually, there's a reason Tanzania looks kind of like, if you know what they look like, they look a little bit unusual, is because earlier, like when we were brainstorming Tales of Durantha and we said we liked fantasy, there's a little bit of a rule in it. Like we didn't touch upon it in our stories because when we were making it, we didn't really see a good place to put it. But this is, I guess, a little trivia. The reason both Tanzania and Hikaru look the way that they are with unnatural hair color and eye color is because they have a bit of, I guess, magic in them. Like if they read all that was left unsaid, it was actually explained. Like Tanzania's like that's why they look the way that they are. And how I built the universe, like I wanted to make it like a closed community, so it's like I can focus on better. And I like the idea that Tanzanians, like they originally they were mean, and that's why nobody wants to be with them. But in this version, nobody is around them because everybody's a bit like wary because of what they are, like because of their magic users. Like that's why everybody's a bit, ngejauhin, and also because Tanzania themselves have personality-nya nggak deket with everybody else that they're not really close with, and that's why there's a little bit of an animosity between Taz and the rest of the town, except with their friend. Now, I'm not gonna say it. The Dition family, Joseph, Bella, Felix, they were all gonna die in the original draft of all that was left unsaid. As I said, originally Tanzania was like a really bad person, and in the original script, Tanzania was actually gonna off the entire family out of pure spite. First it was going to be with Bella, and then they were accidentally going to do it to Joseph. and that kind of sent them into spiraling because they kind of liked Joseph. Joseph's like the one person that they did tolerate. And then Felix confronted them, and then they wanted to take it out on him. He was accidentally falsely arrested because because people thought he was attacking them, and while he was in jail, they were gonna poison him, and then he passes away. But they get away scot-free because nobody will know. That's basically the entire thing of All That Was Left Unsaid. The reason why I call it All That Was Left Unsaid is because there's a lot that is left unsaid between the characters themselves. And yeah, see, the reason why Tazanir is a florist of all things is because their old origin had to do with like poison stuff, and I did a little researching. The type of poison that they dealt with is something that can make someone like fall asleep, because I associate them like a lot with sleep because they're tired, because that's there was a joke that's why they're so grumpy. And a lot of like poisons like are derived from like flowers. And that's why I also kept the flower imagery like florist for Tazanir. Also, I think it's just nice, you know, it's pretty. It's a bit of a contrast considering like how they are and what they actually do.
Nice. Wow, I didn't know all of this, Nala. Hopefully, Oh My Game from YouTube is still here and watching, because that's a really great extra insight from the universe of Tasanira and All That Was Left Unsaid. Thank you, Nala.
Yay.
Thank you. Oke, moving on to the next question ya. Ini ada di chat Bu Mira. Mungkin Bu Miranya masih di sini kah supaya bisa unmute dan nanya langsung mungkin supaya lebih enak? Hai, Bu Mira masih di mute?
Mute.
Oh, hai Bu.
Bu lagi luar.
Hai.
Hai.
Bu Mira mau nanya langsung kah?
Lagi itu
Oh,
ke-mute
she's
lagi.
mute. She's mute.
Bu, Ibu ke-mute lagi, Bu.
Bu, you're mute. You're mute. Mute.
Nah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ini di luar jadi agak susah.
Oh,
Oke, kalau gitu aku yang tanyain aja ya. Nanti Bu Mira mungkin bisa nyimak. Oke. So, Bu Mira's question is, for all the process that you guys have been through, I know it's not easy for sure, but since your artworks have been exhibited on social media, that allows everyone to say whatever they want. Nah, kalian gimana? How do you guys anticipate the bad comments and possible feedbacks from the public?
Oh,
Was Bu Mira?
well, I think we all already like prepare ourselves for that, because like throughout making this whole FMP, we all realize like there's so many gaps we want to fill but cannot, and yeah, most of our stories are either left in cliffhangers or in cryptic because of time, and we already like prepare for like people like saying give those criticism yang ouch. But same time, I also think for all of us itu juga buat kayak a path for us to know, oh, we have to improve on this, karena we know where we should improve, tapi itu like from our point of view, and if and getting a perspective from the audience makes it better, because that's the point of our project. We want this franchise to be given to the public. So if we like if we are open to the audience's feedback and their thoughts about it, I'm pretty sure we can like be better on the next time when we improving it on the franchise.
Nice. Thank you so much, Nuance. Nala, Regina, and Rana, anything to add? Nala, maybe?
kind of like never mind.
Okay, sorry. Okay. I don't know about everyone, but for me personally, considering the nature of some of the elements in our stories, to be real, I was kind of already anticipating people to maybe say something it's like maybe like not necessarily negative, but like very critical because of the content that's in the story. So I'm kind of like, you know what, Yoda, like it's definitely gonna arrive at some point. So like, just prepare yourself, I guess. I mean, it's not like I haven't seen like other people tackle topics like this and not get like criticism. It's like I know like the nature of like what I'm tackling. It's gonna arrive eventually. So, like, you know what, ya udah. Well, aku sih kayak gitu. I don't know about the rest.
Well, I'm kind of prepared to receive backlash because, some of the scenes on my book are kind of dark, I guess, especially like on 2 frames, I guess. So I'm all about it. It's okay because it's not for everyone. So I understand that.
There's a reason we put a warning in our website, like at the bottom, because we know.
Speaking of that, with the layout of the website, the one thing I'm scared of is like people are gonna give feedback, like, "Hey, where's the this? Hey, where's the that?" When it is there, they just skipped over it.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I received feedback from someone, and they're like, "Hey, I don't exactly know where the direction is going. How do I feel the stories or whatever?" Even though it says right there, by the way, if you want to go to there, click on this. So like that, sometimes I feel like, oh man, if they're gonna criticize us, they should, I don't know, pay attention. Like we also put content warnings, and if there's gonna be feedback saying this is too brutal, this is too blah blah blah, even though we clearly put a warning, there's gonna be violence or whatever, and they're gonna judge us for it, and that's the one thing that I will not accept. But that's just me probably.
Oke, so sebenarnya udah ada antisipasinya ya dari content warning di websitenya, juga direction to access each of the story juga udah ada di websitenya gitu ya. But mostly everyone is prepared to receive feedbacks or like Regina put it, backlash due to the dark nature of some of the stories gitu. Jadi and Nuan said something about growing from the feedback too, because it is now part of the public story juga. Sekarang udah dibuka ke public juga. Jadi kayak how now like to only grow from the feedbacks that were given gitu ya. So beautiful answers everyone, thank you. Bu Mira, semoga udah terjawab ya Bu. Aku izin remove dari spotlight. Ada pertanyaan lagi dari Bu Marda yang tadi juga sempat ngomong di atas. Girls, selamat ya. Karya kalian diselesaikan dengan sangat jempolan, menarik untuk digali dan ditelusuri. Terlihat dan terbaca sangat kompak, serta alurnya tersusun dan mengalun dengan rapi dan baik. Kagum banget sama kalian, kolaborasi rame-rame untuk jangka waktu yang panjang kan nggak gampang ya. Dan hasilnya bagus banget. Standing ovation for the four of you. That's what Bu Marda said. And then she also has a question. Mungkin Bu Marda bisa unmute sendiri, Bu, dan menanyakan pertanyaannya Ibu secara langsung. Apakah Bu Marda di sini?
Wakili.
Oh, oke, diwakili. Alright. Jadi pertanyaannya, setelah berkolaborasi selama setahun, pasti kalian saling mengenal, dan semoga pertemanannya makin kompak. Tapi menurut masing-masing dari kalian, apa kehebatan dari ketiga teman-teman kalian ini satu persatu? So what nuance think Nala's, Regina's, and Rana's strength is, and then Nala, what you think of Nuance, Regina, Rana, and so on and so forth. Gimana nih? Mungkin bisa dimulai dari Rana dulu nih mungkin, ke teman-temannya yang lain.
So Nala is the one person who's keeping us all in check, whatever deadlines, whatever. She's the most sane person of the group. Meanwhile, Nancy is like the one with like the really cool concepts or whatever, like cool ideas. Like she's the one who came up with the introduction of the website, and I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. She's also the one who introduced Wix. I'm like, damn. Yeah. And then there's Regina has gorgeous concept art, man. So like whenever she shares her own ideas, I'm like, God God, wow. Wow, I wanna try something like that, you know? So like yeah, that's from me at least.
Right. Thank you, Rana. Mungkin dari Regina towards your friends.
Well, apa ya? Rana has like really good coloring skills. Kayak I have to say, like every time I see it, oh my god, it's so cute. Kayak sometimes I really like okay, I could really depend on her, like on our relay practices, especially on the shading, because I'm really bad at coloring. Jadi, like the thing she does is kind of elevates the picture, I think. And Nuance, I think she really helps, especially with making decisions. So sometimes I talk to her and terus nanya kayak, mendingan gue gimana ya, you know. And kalau Nala, yeah, as Rana said, she holds the brain cell of the group. She gets going, and yeah, she keeps us on track. Pokoknya sih.
Okay, the brain cell. Okay, now we move on to the brain cell nih, the supposed brain cell of the group. Nala, what do you think of your friends?
Uh, okay. Uh, I like Regina's like her style is really good. The thing that I admire for like both Regina and Chanty, I guess, sort of, is they have like a lot of illustrations, and I think the illustrations like quality bagus, and the fact that they can stay focused on them and do a lot of them is like it's something that I applaud them for because it's like wow how Regina and like the quality of her all her art, but and Chancy the thing that impresses me the most post production is when I'm working, I tend to ramble a lot because if I have an idea, I immediately go to get the others like, "Hey guys, guess what I thought?" Meanwhile, Chansey was able to like, at least from my eyes, she was able to keep like hers like lumayan under wraps. So whenever she like, showed anything to us, I'm just like, "Yes, more." For Nuance, I also really appreciate her own story making skills. I personally discuss a lot with her too, and I guess I especially akhir-akhir ini when it comes to like the exhibition when we have to like go ngobrol to like the school to like contact the school. I sometimes go to ask help for her because I'm bad with cooking sometimes. So it's like yeah, I really appreciate that too. So yeah, I think everybody is like ada bagus. Like, they're good at what
Nah,
they do.
okay. The brain cell has spoken, guys. The brain cell has spoken. Okay, last but not least, Nuance, what do you think about like your friend's individual strength that you
Yeah,
admire?
I think I mentioned this in one of the question. I said that I am the one who throws the concept to my friends about everything, the story, the world, and everything. But I always have the issue on executing it. And then and Regina and Rana is the one who helps me fill that gap. Like, and for me, I always come to Rana for like advices on the illustrating part. What Regina said, she's good at coloring and the color theories, which is like wow. Like I will never think of that. And apa Regina is the one with also like help illustrating the like the background of the world, and also like the creatures in the apa namanya, in Durantha, and also like the small but important things like the food, the cultures, like that. And I think yeah, that's very important part of the story. Like it may be small, but it's actually important. And Nala, I always discuss like the story making and all, and like we always discuss like I think we on both like how to execute it and our decisions to on both the story and the planning for our whole project. So we often like always consult to each other when it comes to the planning, since since she's the planner of it, and she's like the one who pushes us all to go forward, which is what we all need. Because yeah,
Mm.
we're always often confused like, oh, where do we go next? And I was like, okay, let's start with this start with this, and after that we can figure out along the way like that.
Mm. All right. Wow. Well, we're seeing a lot of similarities juga sih tadi ya statementnya. Each of your statements are pretty much backed up by everyone else juga gitu. So that's interesting to know the dynamic, this insight towards your this power anger apa universe. So thank you so much everyone for answering Bu Marda's question ya. Semoga terjawab ya Bu Marda ya. Dan tapi juga Bu Marda mungkin ada satu pertanyaan lagi yang mungkin aku mau jadiin pertanyaan terakhir sebelum kita tutup artis talk ini. Aku mau menanyakan pertanyaan yang sama ke teman-teman kalian yang udah presentasi ya. We call this Bu Mardas pertanyaan pamungkas ya. Sebagai yang punya karya, kalian mau kasih nilai berapa ke karya FMP yang sudah kalian selesaikan ini? Jadi skala 1 sampai 10, 1 jelek parah, 10 bagus banget. Oke, so mungkin Regina dulu nih, tadi kayaknya udah mau ngomong.
It's an 8, honestly. It could be better. Kayak, I'm satisfied with how it looks, sama kayak the illustrations, but I think it would be so much better with like a little bit of writing in it. But yeah, gitu kayak if only we have more time, you know. But I think it's an 8 for me.
Nice. Oke, 8 dari Regina untuk Regina sendiri. Nuance maybe. What about you?
8 as well. Like apa namanya, throughout the process, I was too much filled with frustration on like, why isn't it done yet? Why isn't it already in this part yet? So I really need to like take my time on that. And also but I'm also proud of the result, and also part of the process is I feel like I got closer to the medium of writing. Like it has always been like the thing I like to do, but I never like indulged deeper into it. And it made me like read lots of books and comics as well for the inspiration. And apa namanya, yeah, and as much as like I feel like it's not enough, but it made me like proud of myself, because oh wow, I didn't know I could do that. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Nuance. Also an 8 for Nuance ya. Mungkin Rana, what about you? What do you think?
I tend to overthink a lot, so I'm honestly giving myself like a 7 or something, because I do this digital artist thing where after I fall asleep and wake up and saw the art I made, I'm like, wait, why are their legs so tiny? And then I look at the neck, I'm like, why is this neck so small? And then I look at the coloring of like whatever I do, I'm like, man, I could have rendered this more. And then I keep thinking about, man, I should have made more, because I still think this is too big for blah 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 blah. So yeah, but simply I've been overthinking, and I realized, wow, I really could have done better. But one good thing is like, I'm proud that I even managed to get there, like I managed to make more than 20 pages of illustrations. And I'm like, okay, wow, that's still amazing even for me. So 7, because like I still think I could have done more and could have added more into it. But also I'm just proud how I managed to get and draw that much, at least decent looking drawings for myself.
Okay, so a very proud 7 for Rana from herself. Yeah, really, really, really nice. Really happy to hear that. Nala, last but not least, what do you think?
I'd give myself an 8 because I'm really, really happy. I'm proud of managing to able to finish like an entire story. Like this is probably the first time I've actually finished a piece of writing, and it's a long one. It's a long and detailed one at that. And I'm really happy how it came out. I'm happy that I was able to finish it. I'm happy that I'm happy with the result. But looking back over it when I'm actually finished and looking back at like my old drafts and stuff, there are parts of it where I kind of want to improve or like change a little bit, because I think it would have been better maybe in a certain way, or like I just like this way a little better. So in the future, I kind of want to maybe fix it a bit or like renew it. But as it is right now, I am happy with it, and I'll give it an 8.
Nice. Thank you so much, Nuance, Nala, Regina, Rana, for very reflective self-assessment ya tadi barusan. Bu Marda juga komentar lagi di chat kalau mau dibaca ya teman-teman ya. There's a comment from Bu Flaviana Saptarina ya. Selamat ya kalian sudah menyelesaikan dengan baik FMP-nya, tetap bersahabat, tetap tertawa dan berbagi dan tetap selalu saling kontak. Seperti saat ini hampir setiap hari sampai berjam-jam bicara, tertawa tanpa henti. Bravo. Yay! I resonated with Bu Flaviana on this message. Hopefully you guys can still continue your friendship. Beautiful. Thank you, Bu Flaviana, for that comment. Oke, mungkin itu aja kali ya teman-teman yang bisa kita tampung untuk hari ini karena udah 2 jam, gak kerasa banget. So perhaps for like just to end this artist talk, mungkin I want to ask for a short like any like message or closing statement or gratitude or whatever you have in mind, just to say to the audience and just to say to your friends here, your fellow collaborators, and what to say to yourself too regarding this entire process. Mungkin aku ke Regina dulu mungkin. Any closing statements?
Closing statement. I want to say thank you because, yeah, as much as I kayak do lots of work like myself, terus kayak it will not be possible like this FMP without the other 3 of us. Jadi, yeah, just thank you so much because I never knew I could like actually make something so pretty. Kayak, I never made a zine before and I never saw it being completed because I never really thought that much, and you guys kind of pushed me to do the things that I wanted to do, that I've always wanted to do. So I'm just really thankful because, yeah, I think y'all pushed me to do the next step, basically. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Regina. Perhaps next, I would like to go to Nala for your short closing statement.
First, I'd like to thank everybody who had spared the time on the weekend to listen to all 4 of us ramble about our project for like 2 hours. I'm surprised that there's this many people, and it's like a very pleasant surprise. It's good to know that all our hard work didn't go into complete vain. So thank you for coming. And next, I'd like to thank the guys. Thank you for making this the past year experience like a pretty good experience. Like, yes, it was stressful, but it's been fun all the while. And thank you for putting up with my cerewetness kalau kita lagi production. And yeah, I'm happy that you guys made the experience as well as it did, as fun as it was despite everything. So yeah, thanks for being there for the past year, I think they'd say.
Hey, thank you, Nala. Thank you so much for the heartfelt sentiment. Mungkin aku ke Rana berikutnya, Rana.
I would like to say like thank you to my friends, my family, my power rangers for supporting me and my decisions and my art. Thank you for listening to my rambling or my persistent light-hearted jokes. Thank you for like keeping up with me. I thought thank you thank you for keeping up with me. I'm probably annoying. Really, but yeah, I really did not think I could get this far, because to be honest, have never put this much effort into something before. Not gonna lie, not even those like some completely different big project, whatever. I feel like I put the most effort into this thing, and I'm like, I feel like I really couldn't have done it without you guys. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rana. Very beautifully put. Last but not least, Nuance. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Any closing
Mm.
statement?
Uh, yeah, all I can say is thank you for people who took their time to come here and show their support. Thank you so much. It really means a lot for us, and thank you for the feedbacks of our project. We will know our next step because of that. And thanks for and I want to thank my group mates because seriously, I wouldn't have done that. You guys are like the source of my motivation. Like even if I didn't like rant to you that how I didn't vent about how I'm confused or anything, but just hearing you guys like talk about your story or whatever anything, just it made me like motivated. Like I about like yeah I can do this, I can do this, and yeah and because of everyone's support and my group mates, I can't believe I actually made a story that's actually not how I expected, but it's actually like very fleshed out in my opinion. And that's just oh wow, I actually did that. And I am really grateful that it's I'm really grateful from all of you guys support.
Okay. Thank you so much. Oh, Nala, yeah, you want to add something?
This is just a little thing. Since all of our questions so far tadi was like really long, there might be people yang ada they want to say something but nggak sempat atau nggak ada waktunya. You can still say it like on the website on our
Mhm.
feedback page. So be sure to check it out to like take a
Just
look
go to
into
the
it.
page and scroll down.
Yeah,
Okay.
the feedback page is right there. Thank you for taking your time. Anyway,
Yes,
And
yes.
okay.
don't forget to check our archives and our feature if you guys want
Yeah,
more.
Yeah.
If you want to
And
see,
and like stay tuned for updates when
yeah,
we
because
decide to go back.
yeah,
yeah.
because we won't stop posting on the Durantha Instagram account because every now and then we will post doodles or concept art, but like
Yeah.
yeah, we
Just
won't.
stay
But we gotta take a
tuned.
break first.
Just stay tuned.
Yeah.
Mm.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna link your Instagram right there. So everyone in the room, kalau belum follow Instagramnya Tales of Duranta, which is amazing by the way, please go check it out, follow and stay tuned. Kayak tadi teman-teman udah bilang di sini, karena what's the best part about this whole project is that it's still going to continue. So we're still going to be able to see how everything else will develop and we'll see Nuance, Nala, Regina, and Rana's friendship through the, the upcoming updates and new jokes, lighthearted jokes, and other mishaps and tidbits. Nih. So make sure you follow the Instagram and check the website and give your comments, feedbacks, and responses di bawah ya. Jadi kalau di scroll ke bawah terus itu ada kolom button feedback. So make sure to write because like Nuan said, it's a very important tool to grow for them to improve on the next of what's to come for the Tales of Duranta universe. So that's it for the artist talk, teman-teman semua. Thank you for bearing with my very poor moderation and timekeeping. And thank you so much for all the questions. Thank you for everyone who came, spent their weekend with us. And most of all, thank you so much to Nuance, Nala, Regina, and Rana for existing and collaborating and really creating a work that you all can be proud of and that we all can be proud of for all of you too. So thank you for this gift to the arts. Thank you for your time and efforts. And yeah, have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you for the live stream on YouTube. Thank you to all teachers and family juga and parents and friends for coming. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. And let's meet at another time. Thank you
Mm.
so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Karin. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.